Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. Amazing guests the world over with incredible insights. They've often been through some sort of transformative experience or they've had their own personal journey, and today they're giving service to others. We've had all sorts of healers, all sorts of modalities from all over, maybe 25 countries now, plus a White House physician to the US president. We've had another doctor who runs disaster relief programs, probably 8 countries at once at any given time, cholera, earthquakes, war, and so on, who's received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from one of our US presidents, and also one of the highest orders you can receive in Australia from Queen Elizabeth II. And we've had many other top folks, including an Australian actor, Ian Stenlake. If anybody watches Sea Patrol on Amazon Prime, boy, was his show a lot of fun. So check out the shows. We're booked almost all the way through 2025. Today, coming to us from California, we have an amazing guest. He's been on a lot of programs all over. He himself has had a most unusual experience meeting an author and sharing in that author's visions, his work, and he probably, you could say, will be carrying on the legacy a little bit into the future on this. We have Samuel Chong coming to us from California by day, court interpreter, whether we're talking Chinese, Mandarin, and so on. But by night, weekend, he is doing international speaking, plenty of shows as a guest, and talking about French author Michel Desmarquet and his book, which we're shortly going to see the cover of. First, I'd just like to welcome Samuel to the show.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Well, it's generous of you to take your time with us. This is a little bit of unwinding or unpacking we have to do for the story. Where would you like to begin?
I'd like to share my story about how I met the author of this amazing book, which talks about his personal experiences of being taken by extraordinary extraterrestrials to their planet for 9 days and then came back. He brought a lot of knowledge about ancient civilizations, about the purpose of life, reincarnation, the real dangers on Earth, and also, amazingly, there are a lot of specific verifiable facts that we can explore further. Um, it actually happened in 2014 when I was searching for books written on ETs or extraterrestrials. And I found this author, Michel Desmarquet, who claims that he was taken by this group of ETs that had advanced civilization. Actually, since I was young, I was always looking for such books because I thought if the ETs could come and visit us, they must have advanced knowledge and technologies, and we can just learn from them in order to progress at a much faster pace. So in my subconscious mind, I was always looking for books written by ET contactees. And then I found this book, I checked it out. It's so amazing that I couldn't put the book down. In the postscript of the book, it says there are far more incredible things that the author was not allowed to write in the book because we were far from understanding them. I was extremely curious, so I decided to track him down. And I searched and searched on the internet. I couldn't find his exact address, but there was a tourist who accidentally met him and took a picture of his bungalow. So I downloaded that photo and I printed it out. I flew to that city that the tourist went to, and I showed that picture to the local taxi driver, asking him to take me there. And then on the second try, he took me to the right place. Remember, I spent $2,000 on my own, which was incredible for me because I was a very frugal person. And just without knowing whether it was going to be successful or not, and I was determined to give it a try, and finally I got him.
I love it. Keep going. You're doing great, and this is just such a great start.
Yeah, in the very beginning, I thought I came from far away and from Los Angeles going to Vietnam and just to speak to him, he would be very glad to receive me. But it turned out that he wasn't very happy because he was a very private person. It was okay for someone to meet him accidentally by chance, but for him, by visiting him just for the content of the book, he was a little bit annoyed because I was asking a lot of questions. And he said, just read the book one more time, you're going to get all the answers that you asked. I spent 5 days over there and I played chess and I tried to sneak in some questions I had. while playing chess, thinking that he will be distracted, but he kept his mouth shut. He didn't disclose the uh, secrets that he didn't write in the book. And I kept going. But 2 days before I was about to leave Vietnam, he showed me a contract that he signed with a Chinese publisher. He asked me to follow it up because he received $2,000 from the publisher, but never heard back from them. He didn't know whether the book was published in China or not. Because I speak Chinese, he asked me to contact the publisher and then see what was going on. I did, and it turned out that the publisher, even though they paid him $2,000, they decided not to have the book published because of the censorship in China. So he asked me to find other publishers, whether in Hong Kong or Taiwan or mainland China or even Singapore, to get the book published in Chinese. And I did. And then right before the book was about to formally publish in China, he sent me an email saying that he knew it was going to be published in China. And then he asked me to visit him for the second time, in which he would tell me that one thing he wasn't allowed to write in the book. And I did meet him the second time back in 2018. And then 3 or 4 months after I met him for the second time, he passed away.
But this was kind of meant to be or written. Again, keep going. You have an incredible story here to share, and there's much more to get to.
Yes, and he passed away in 2018, but I was told not to disclose that one secret that he didn't put in the book. But I wrote an article revealing as many hints and clues, giving as many clues as possible. And the title of the article is The Second Coming of Jesus Christ. The book writes about the historical events that happened in the past as recorded in the Bible. It explains what really happened um, during the time in which the two cities, Sodom and Gomorrah, was distracted. It talks about the entire Exodus, how Moses led the ancient Hebrews out of Egypt, who parted the Sea of Reeds, not the Red Sea, but the Sea of Reeds for Moses, who gave the manna to the Hebrews to eat so that they could survive during their journey, and also things about what really happened to Jesus and Christ. And it actually explains why Jesus never performed miracles before the age of 30, right before he was about to preach, and also why some people say that Jesus went to India, and why there's a tomb of Jesus in Shingo Village, Japan, and why Christ died on the cross and then resurrected 3 days after. He was just to show us that there's life after death and there's reincarnation. And for some reason, the concept of reincarnation was later removed by the Catholic Church Council meetings. And this book is so specific. It named that 4 different Catholic Church Council meetings that intentionally distorted the original meanings of the ancient scriptures in the Bible. It also talks about a lot of things like what are ghosts? Like people can see ghosts, and people can also communicate with spirits. And what are the spirits? It also talks about the meaning of life, which is to learn as much as we can by responding to the challenges that we all face in our lifetime, because we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. And through the challenges, we can learn the spiritual lessons. And then after we pass, we're going to be shown how we did in the lifetime through a life review process. It's going to be like a holographic film displaying everything that we did in our lifetime. We're going to be able to feel how others felt when we did certain things onto others. And through that, we're going to learn the lessons, and we're going to decide what kind of spiritual lessons to learn in the future reincarnations. So this book contains a lot of knowledge that I find to be very interesting.
How many times have you read the book now?
I've read more than 15 times.
And each time, is there something new you're seeing?
Yes, each time there's something new. In the very beginning, the first time I read it, I was so focused on the technologies of the extraterrestrials, such as anti-gravitational device and technologies, supersonic vibratory systems. And the second time I read it, I was more focused on the meaning of life, like reincarnation and learning life lessons. And the third time, I was more focused on the content that the author wasn't allowed to write in the book. So, um, so this has been my mission to really spread the messages. But each time I read it, there's something new that comes out.
And without getting too much into the mystery of what he wasn't allowed to write, but for those who have not read the book, can you hint in some way which direction they should be thinking? I wonder what that is once they've read the book. Will they know what that extra area is that they can't learn about? Or can you give us a hint in some direction? Is it more about alien races? Is it about mankind's origins? Is it about something else? Or have you already hinted at it just 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, if people read the book between the lines and also my article, they're going to know that for sure there will be a second coming of Christ, but not in the sense that people are expecting, but in the sense that our future depends on our actions. So there have been different categories of planets in the universe. We are a category 1 planet, and the Thiaoubans, the Jehovans, also pronounced as Jehovans, they do have a connection to the angels or Jehovah or the people that came to visit us as gods, as mentioned in the Bible. So they have been our guardians and watchers and also mentors throughout the history of mankind on Earth. They were in contact with us in the past, and they were involved in the stories as mentioned in the Bible. And it's true that people will expect that Christ will come again, but the more important the thing is how we should prepare for it. And the past is fixed. We can visit our past, but the future is to be determined by our collective consciousness, our actions. So we should be prepared for the second coming by following the teachings of Christ. I'm not talking about organized religions. I'm talking about the teachings of Christ to be humble, to love one another, to love your neighbor, to seek for spiritual knowledge, and also to really learn about the important lessons that we each one of us will encounter in our lifetime. So it's important to have the knowledge and to really respond to the challenges that we face by looking inside for answers. For the kingdom of God is within you, as says in the Bible. We shouldn't follow politicians or mainstream media or any organized religions. We should look inside when we encounter challenges in life.
I'm going to read a phrase to you from Angels. It's very gentle. Compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself, generously and without fixation. Believe in all. It's much simpler than people think. Again, this is because this is not about thinking, but less thinking. Open yourself up to life. Speak with us. Be. That's from an angel's perspective. With that, did you like that? Two-part question. Did you like that? And then on the thinking front versus awareness, consciousness, love, relaxing, awareness, if I didn't say that, limitlessness and timelessness. Let's make up some words. Can you talk to us about the difference in flows up here as a second part? But first, was the first part okay?
Yes, definitely. I like it. I love it.
Good. And then along the way, you've had a lot of experiences. I will be asking if Michel has come to you in your dreams or you've gotten some sort of sign post-death from him or just a good feeling at times. And we'll get to that as well. But for the moment, what have you been learning personally to let go of? What have you been enjoying more in the years since as you've begun and embarked on this journey?
Well, yes, Michel Desmarquet came into my dreams after he passed. I met him and also his son in my dreams, and he told me some of the things that he discussed with his son. And also, I met in real life, also met his son after he passed. He passed. And so far, I have learned that we should respond to the challenges by looking at different things in a spiritual way, not materialistic way, because we don't take away the material wealth after we die or when we die. Like Napoleon, a great conqueror, didn't take away anything he accumulated in his lifetime. And so we should focus on how we interact with others and how we treat others with compassion, with love, and also to do the right thing to encourage people to be more spiritual, because we are people collectively. We all come from the same source. And the great creator created human beings on Earth and on different planets uh, in the sense that we are all connected spiritually. So if we have wars, we are fighting against ourselves. So it's better to behave in a way that creates peace and not to really create conflicts. I've been looking at the four real dangers that mentioned in the book. Number one, money. Number two, politicians. Number three, journalists and drugs. Number four, religions. With so many conflicts in the world, the number one danger, the real danger, is money. Because if you follow money, if you follow the money, you're going to see most of the conflicts in the world are created because of financial gains. The military industrial complex and the defense companies will be bankrupt if there are no wars in the world. So I've been looking for the group of people who run everything behind the scenes. Because in the United States, people just think Republicans versus Democrats. They don't realize that both parties are on the payroll of this group of people, what I would call them the cabal or maybe the financiers. So people need to realize this fact that we need to really look um, at what's happening behind the scenes, not what happens in the front stage. And journalists and drugs are really dangerous because drugs affect our astral body negatively. They put us in a false paradigm or give us false information or false data. And it's proven by people who can read auras or human energy fields. They say that people who use hallucinogenic drugs tend to have more disrupted or disharmonious auras. Journalists also are dangerous because they tend to report on the sensational news. They should instead report the positive news, like people helping each other, and also news accurately. We tend to report, the journalists nowadays tend to report on crimes, and other criminals tend to follow their news and imitate the behaviors of the criminals that they report on. Number four, religions. I don't need to elaborate more. The organized religions tend to act as the unnecessary intermediary agency between human beings and the great creator, the source. In fact, when in fact we can communicate with the source directly by meditation, by praying, or just by having a good night of sleep in dreams. So this is what I've been promoting the messages and to the people, hoping that people can wake up.
And I certainly think in America, without getting into politics in any way, if there's a peace candidate, they won't be popular in the press. The press I used to work with for 16 years as a worldwide global publicist for $1 billion company. I think at the height of everything, I booked 1,100 plus media interviews in a single year, journalist, expert. Today, it's a little different. Angel or a galactic figure on one side and a human on another to do some amazing stuff together. But in the old days with the press, I do not recognize it today. I no longer have to read 4 newspapers a day, and I don't think I could. I think it's changed quite a bit. I certainly don't recognize the journalism industry that I was exposed to in the 90s and 2000s. It's not the same. But there is the free press and some of the other stuff on Substack and elsewhere where you can hopefully get the old style of news that once existed. Um, with that, could you share with us the Dreamtime experience? At least set up the setting. What country were you in at the time? Did you have a sense that you might make connection with Michel? Do you recall it in the first place? And can you just give a little bit of flavor Was it good to see him? Did you embrace? Was he smiling?
Yes, that's after he passed. I was in the United States, in Los Angeles to be exact. And in my dreams, Michel flew by plane to meet with his son in Australia. I was there as well. He discussed some of the things with his son, and then he said, I have been doing a very good job promoting the book. And then in my dreams, he went away with the aircrafts of the ETs, extraterrestrials. And this is something very, very strange. And I don't know whether it meant something, but he was very happy, and I was very happy too.
Good. And this is a delicate question. Don't answer it if you don't want to. But how do I say this? If I've been seeing and taking photos of angels for 13 years, helping people meet them, get direct answers, I don't see the questions, I don't see the answers. I didn't know much about the whole galaxy thing. And it wasn't until the spring of this year, a few angels gave their origin story. Like, hey, I was originally from Orion, Andromeda, Pleiadian, and so on. So in the last however many months since March, I've had to play catch up, and now people can meet a Pleiadian, a Lyran, an Andromedan, a person from Orion, an Arcturian. I think that's almost as far. A few places that are so far out, it's not worth saying anymore. Do you have a way to categorize the ETs from this book, from Michel's book, that would have any relevance in English for us? Could you do a little explaining? And it doesn't have to be physical, like that they're tall and skinny, or that they've got this type of background, that type of background, but anything you could do to paint the picture would certainly be helpful.
Yes, of course. The according to this book, we have different categories of inhabitants from different planets. So Earth is a category one planet. We are learning the basics, but there are other inhabitants from different planets of different categories. For example, the Thiaoubans come from a category nine planet. So they are just like the top of the scale. And after category nine, that will be the source, the great ether, the creator of the universe. But there are other ETs that come from different categories of planets. For example, what you just mentioned, they may come from category seven or eight or even category nine planets. But it's the Theubans, according to this book, that have been intervening and sometimes helping us directly or indirectly in correcting our ways of living. For example, they intervened during the times of Sodom and Gomorrah by destroying the two cities because the people there were behaving very unspiritually, and in fact, they punished the inhabitants of Sodom and Gomorrah punished the people who were compassionate. If you read the Jewish Torah or the Bible, Jewish Bible, you're going to see that the people in Sodom and Gomorrah, they tortured the girl to death just because the girl helped a beggar on the street by giving the beggar food to eat. So this is why the cities were distracted, because they have to prevent the cancer cells from spreading to the body, figuratively speaking. So there are other groups of ETs that Michel Desmarquet met in on the planet Thiaoouba, and he also saw at least 147 different corpses of different ETs floating in a golden doko, like a golden domed shaped structure. So he was told that there are at least 147 different species of ETs just in our Milky Way galaxy. And after he came back from Thiaoouba back in 1995 or so, he was told telepathically that the grays that our government has been interacting with also come from Category 1 planet. They did put implants to 150 people or so by that time, just to observe us, how we behave, because they were losing their immune system and we were losing our immune system as well. They just wanted to see how we respond to the same situation or the same problem that they were having. Um, because they're a dying race, and we have been losing our immune system since 1948. And yes, indeed, the government has been interacting with the Greys, trying to get their technologies. But from my perspective, I would encourage the government to learn from the best, learn from the technologies or knowledge from Category 9 planet inhabitants, not from Category 1 planet like the Greys, because the Greys are at the same spiritual level as us. So I would encourage people to learn from the masters, not to learn from our peers necessarily.
Now, you've been doing the speaking circuit for a while, different countries, different shows. Can you give us some flavor of where you've been invited to speak, what shows you've been on, and so on?
Yes, I've been speaking to different audience, mostly in the circle among the people who believe in ETs or extraterrestrials or UFOs. For example, Coast to Coast and New Thinking Aloud with Jeffrey Mishlove and also Jeff Marshall and a few others. I've also been speaking live in different conferences like Journey to Truth conference or Alien Event conference in Los Angeles and a few others. In the future, I'm planning to speak out to the people who do not necessarily believe in the ETs or UFOs or angels, but I'm going to take a different approach by speaking about their our people's near-death experiences or the concept of reincarnation or the meaning of life so that they can gradually uh, receive the messages that I like them to receive.
And we're going to jump a little bit to your own personal experiences. Have you had the chance yet, or infrequently, or often, to see auras on people, plants, animals, and so on? Is it only once in your lifetime? Where are you on the whole seeing consciousness or universal love as light around you? Has that happened yet?
Well, I have been able to see auras in during certain circumstances under certain lights. I see bluish or greenish color around my hand, but I'm looking to see the auras or the colors around the human body more and more because auras are really important in predicting the physical illness of a person because the physical symptoms manifest uh, way after the colors change in a person. So the colors of a person predict uh, how that person is going to do health-wise or physically in the future. And odors can also show whether a person is honest or lying on stage or the mood of a person or the personalities of a person. So if people are able to see auras of the politicians on stage, they're able to immediately tell who is talking honestly and who is um, lying on stage. So it's a very important skill to have. And also, I personally want to help people to understand more about the importance of love and the importance of responding to the life challenges in a spiritual way. Because if you just focus your attention to earning more money or making a good living, then after you die, you're going to tend to regret the relationships that you should focus more on, like treating better your family members or your neighbors or people who you don't know, the strangers that you encounter in your lifetime. And even like as Christ said, is everyone can treat the people who like us very easily. Can treat well the people who like us very easily. Like if someone praises you, then you're going to treat him or her very nicely. It's very easy to do. But as in terms of your enemies, it's really hard to do. For example, I just got robbed 2 days ago. My cell phone was um, taken away by or snapped by a person when I was taking the train from the airport to Los Angeles to my home. And then I was really frustrated because there's a lot of information and data on my cell phone, and also the cell phone was very expensive. But it's important to realize that the person who took my cell phone may has a very hardship, like financial hardship, and even though he did that incorrectly, but I mean, I don't feel a lot of uh, like I don't like explain that person because I know that people have different experiences, and it will be very very nice to like take a look at things from overall perspective. And I went to the police station in South Central Los Angeles and learned about how the situations have been changing over the last 4 years. And people do have very harsh lives nowadays, and they have no other ways but to find different means to survive. And when I'm on the train, I do see people struggling in their lifetimes, and sometimes the people that don't have the financial means, they take advantage of their peers. So it's important to solve the root of the problem and not to really look at the things from on the surface level. So this is what I've learned from the messages in the book.
Can you share with us any other dreamtime experiences that not necessarily with Michel, but that have been very formative or helpful for you?
When I was in elementary school in China, in my third or fourth grade in elementary school, I had a dream of navigating the system of the world, trying to help as many people as possible so that they can elevate or move up the ladder step by step, or maybe just to go back to the source. Because according to the book, Thiaoouba Prophecy, if we do well spiritually in this lifetime, we can move up the ladder. For example, if we live on category 1 planet, as we all are right now, we can move up and to live on category 3 planet or category 5 planet after we pass and then reincarnate. So in my dreams, I was trying to move up as fast as possible. And then I was told that I have to do that step by step. And then after I get to a category 9 level, I can join and rejoin the great ether, the creator of the universe. And then I would have a very pleasurable time, like a blissful time or enjoyment over there. And then after I become bored, I can become separated at my own will from the great ether or the great spirit, and then to really redo the whole process. The entire cycle can start over again, in the sense that they can my some of my like astral body can be separated from the great ether by going back to a category 1 planet like Earth, and then to go through the entire process again, moving up the ladder, and then the cycle goes on. So this is the essence of life according to my dream, which is to keep learning, and keep learning spiritual lessons.
Growth and expansion never stops. With your permission, if you would like to see an aura, you get a dad joke at the very least. I'll put up cardboard black construction paper, but the blue sky is number one. Um, and it's out of the movie Celestine Prophecy when they did it like this against the jungle with the JAG or NCIS actress showing the Band of Brothers HBO show actor. But I had a guest who was around in the 70s, a healer, who said, "No, we were doing this way before that movie was ever made." And then in India, they do it this way. So you can see light between my fingers. Does it sound fun? It takes 30 seconds, but you do get a dad joke more importantly. You'll just see colored light. And if you have fun with that, you can ask the universe to make extra objects off of it, butterflies, flowers, whatever you want. Other guests do it. It's no big deal across the board whether you do or don't. But again, you get a dad joke. So here comes the dad joke. People can just see the filament of light, and it's on almost every show, every other show, if people want to go look at other shows from this series. The most important thing is to breathe and be in your heart for folks at home. And I forgot my only rule or bit of structure. Just ask the universe angels to get you out of your head into your heart and see with your heart. You'll see pretty light. If it's rainbow light for the people at home, hit the pause button and run out and buy a lotto ticket. Kind of kidding, but kind of not. If there's anything you need to know, see rainbow light. It's beautiful. It's big. You're wide open. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And it's very pretty. Okay, here we go. And the dad joke is, where in a hospital is the worst place to play hide and seek. Where? In the ICU. And just see a little filament of light. Is it gold, green, yellow, white? What color do you see as a stream of light between my fingers?
I see some I cannot tell the colors, but I see some like a fuzzy, like a cloudish, um, like circling around your two fingers. Not exactly the colors yet, but I do see some kind of foggy phenomena.
Okay, and you can ask the universe or fill in the rest for unconditional love figures in the universe to bring you a little extra that's not me. So if you want to see pink hearts, a flower, some sort of a shape, sparks, a vortex, you don't have to say that you saw it, but you can just ask for it and privately keep that to yourself. I'm only going to do this for about 10 or 15 extra seconds, but get a little extra is the bottom line. It's like when you order a pizza and you get the works versus a regular pepperoni pizza. So see if you get a little extra, and that's it. I pull this apart. We'll keep it private for you. Okay, talk to us more about love. This is what you'll be teaching or sharing or reminding people about. Is it everything? Is love the fabric of the universe, Samuel?
Yes, it is the fabricate of the universe because everything is about love. When God, the creator, created every one of us, it inserted a tiny portion of itself to each of our astral bodies. So we are all connected to the source, or what some people would call God. So we are all the same creations. So it's good to love one another and to really know this fact that we are all brothers and sisters on Earth and also on different planets. So this is the reason why extraterrestrials from different planets will not um, invade us because they all understand the concept of spirituality if they're allowed to come in contact with us. If they're not spiritually evolved, then they're not allowed by other ETs to be in touch with us. So this is why I don't think ETs are a threat because they understand the concept of love because we are all the creations of the universe, the great spirit.
That was beautifully said. And we're going to ask another personal question. On your many travels and journeys and speaking engagements, have you met any sparkly-eyed strangers that to this day, maybe they're super tall, thin, remarkable in some way, that you're still scratching your head over and wondering, was it really an unconditional love being down in human form for just that moment? Have you had any run-ins with very interesting people that you're still scratching your head over and wondering, could it have been either an angel or a Pleiadian or someone else?
Yes, I do. Actually, the trip that I did in Germany after I came back on the plane from to Zurich, I met a coach, a life coach, a German life coach, and he was extremely tall, and we had a very interesting conversation about the spiritual teachings of different masters, and also uh, from Zurich to Los Angeles or to San Francisco, I met another lady, and she's a viola player, and we had a very interesting conversation with the meaning of life and also the situations that we see nowadays in different countries. And I don't think those are coincidence. I think those are by chance or have a certain meaning to me down my future path. And I think my 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 the accident or the incident in which the thief stole or snatched my cell phone is also not a accident. It meant to teach me something. And I also met people that I'm so amazed at their understandings about certain aspects of spiritual practices, like the meditation techniques, such as the breathing and also imagination of different colors and different pictures. And those people are so inspirational. And I sometimes wonder where do they come from? Like, there's angelic beings just to experience and to teach different spiritual teachings to people on Earth, or are they also have their spiritual lessons to learn? So sometimes when I meet different people, I wonder where they come from, or whether this is their just the first reincarnation on Earth from high above. I do have a feeling that a lot of the spiritual masters like Sai Baba, they are here on a mission, and they are to teach people certain spiritual lessons.
I like how you said all that. That was beautiful. Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, the one from 100 years ago. If
Yeah.
anybody wants to catch an Indian temple incense smell in the air, as if 10 meters behind you is an Indian temple, let India come to you. We do that on the other shows sometimes. Um, Talk to us a little bit more about spirituality. What have you had to let go of? What are you enjoying, embracing more? What do you think's ahead, and or what have you been asking for from the universe more? Don't share anything that you wouldn't share at a cocktail party or a speaking engagement.
I've been looking for answers, how this world is really run. And I do have some interesting encounters in which I was told and learned that the people that we see on the front stage are not really the people that run the world. There are people who do everything behind. And for example, a friend of mine told me his experience of encountering a person who told him a few years ahead of time who would be the president of China. And it turned out to be true. And not only that, he was told what the president of China was going to do, which really happened, and it's happening right now. Not only that, he personally witnessed $5 billion transferred into his bank account just to show that they have the ability to do so. And then the transaction was reversed after the purpose was reached. So there are people who run everything behind the scenes, and I've been trying to find out who those people are, and I don't know if their intentions are for the humanity of the world, or they have their own personal profits or agendas. So this has been my goal in my life, because we have to know who they are in order to counter their actions. Uh, but I do think that the solution lies with the power of the people, the collective consciousness, because if they try to do certain things, if the people uh, respond collectively, then the people is going to win as a result, um, through non-violent resistance. It has to be done in a non-violent way because violence doesn't work. It never works. Napoleon tried, Hitler tried and failed, and Genghis Khan in Mongolia, like the Mongols, tried and failed. So when you want to establish this kind of a movement, you have to do it in a non-violent way, through the cultivation of the minds. Uh, and through love and compassion. And people need to realize that they have to act in a concerted way, concerted fashion, because they have to realize that by acting in a collective way, um, for example, by having a strike, they will lose very little individually. But the financiers, the people that they're against, are going to lose humongously because they profit, the people, the financiers profit by enslaving ourselves, by enslaving us. If we stop working for them by having a strike, they would lose billions of dollars each day. So they have to cater to the demands of the people. Um, and this is the power of the collective actions. And this has been my goal and my mission in life, just trying to convey this message that people need to act together in a nonviolent way.
And for the following statement, what's your reaction to it? You can be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever.
I agree, and it's true. And I do believe that at given moment we can just relax and be happy, in a blissful state of meditation. We can enjoy the pleasure of the happiness.
And I'm going to do three random quotes. It might be four, and it could be Eckhart Tolle. It could be Gary Zukav. It could be Winnie the Pooh. And I'll just get your reaction from one or all of the quotes, whichever way you want to react. They're very easy, gentle, loving quotes, but it's just meant to get you going in any direction you wish to share from the heart. And you do very well at that. So thank you. Okay. Piglet asked Winnie the Pooh once, "How do you spell love?" And Winnie the Pooh said, "You don't spell it, you feel it." Then a Gary Zukav quote, "You change the way that you shape the light which is flowing through you by changing your consciousness." And I'm going to randomly, with 18 pages here, Eckhart Tolle. "All inner resistance is experienced as negativity in one form or another. All negativity is resistance. The power of now." Eckhart Tolle. Would you like to talk about any of that? What has it prompted in you to address?
Um, I would say that yes, everything is about love, and also everything is about now, the presence of and the moment that we are in right now. It's important to really feel and also experience the presence that we are in right now. And at the same time, I personally think that we should also have the knowledge, because knowledge is power. So this is why I've been promoting the message in the book, just trying to get people to read the book, Thiaoouba Prophecy, because that book contains a lot of knowledge. This is a book, and the cover of the book is like this. It explains who built the Great Pyramid of Egypt, explains what happens in the Bermuda Triangle when ships and planes and also people suddenly disappear. What about the traveling back in time? Some people say that they can access the akashic record. Yes, they can access the akashic record by meditating or by using a special technique, and it explains what the akashic records are. The book used coined the term psychosphere, explains that the U.S. government tried to access the akashic record, or by going back in time through the Philadelphia experiment incident that happened in the 1960s. So this book has a lot of specific verifiable facts that people can do additional research. And I do believe that this book will open a lot of people's eyes, because it also explains the ancient civilizations that existed on Earth. Um, the continents of Lemuria and Atlantis, and also how the Great Pyramid was built using anti-gravitational technologies and supersonic weaponry systems to cut the huge stones in a very precise manner. The Great Pyramid of Egypt is actually built as a tool to communicate with people in different worlds, in other worlds like ETs, and also to make rain. It's actually an energy center. It's actually been proven scientifically that the pyramid structure can concentrate energy in a very special way. The book also tells about the human energy fields and the importance of colors, because colors can really affect our mood and also our physiological body. There have been a lot of studies on the effects of color by medical doctors. For example, doctors from Harvard Medical School wrote a paper on the effects of the antibacterial, antiviral effects of the blue color, the color blue. When in fact, when Michel Desmarquet entered into their spacecraft, they used the blue color to disinfecting. So the information matches. So I think it's important to really have the knowledge and to respond to the different situations uh, with the knowledge of power.
I love it. And coming up, I believe in November, we have a color expert like that, who is, it would be episode 207. And I'm sorry, it's not until April 13th of next year in 2025, episode 207. a recognized expert on color. She's spoken at South by Southwest. Incredible background, gave an incredible interview, and she'll be back on again end of 2025 again. Um, what else would you want to add as a reminder for how simple it all is?
Yes, when I was in Spain, I visited the cathedrals or the churches, the Catholic churches. My first impression is that how beautiful it is. My second impression is that what a waste. When people can just look inside for answers, they don't need to go to a church to pray and to really go through the priests or pastors for answers. Everything is so simple. We are the creators. We are the creations of the creators. We should be able to find all the solutions just by asking ourselves to look inside for answers. We don't need like a lot of the complicated rituals or ceremonies of different religions to reach that purpose. We can just be in our bedroom and then to pray and to meditate and to get the answers. And also a lot of the simple solutions for different diseases can be found by searching and also by looking for the answers. For example, like when people have heart problems, heart diseases, they take a lot of medications. But when you study pharmacology, which I'm studying right now, then you're going to realize all the medicines, the drugs, have to go through the liver to get detoxed by the liver before they enter the bloodstream, before the effectiveness of the ingredients of the drugs goes into the bloodstream. So you are making everything more complicated by taking the drugs, when in fact you can learn about the real causes of different heart problems. For example, one of the books mentioned, or medical medium mentioned the mentions about the effects of viruses on the blood vessels. When you have inflammation on the blood vessels, then it causes the plague on the blood vessels. That's the real cause of the heart problems or stroke. Um, and that's due to the viral infections causing inflammations. So everything we'll figure out all the different problems that we have, and it's actually much simpler than we can imagine. We don't have to make it more complicated, and so are some of the other things that we encounter in lifetime. Just keep everything simple, and then you're going to be more like pleasant in your life, that because most people don't understand the simplicity of life, and simplicity is actually the essence of life.
Samuel, one last question. Are you making requests to the universe, whether it's big requests or easy requests or simple requests, just to have a smoother path, to experience more love, share more love, or something specific? What can you share with us that's been part of setting your intent lately?
I'm not asking to make my life easier, because the more difficult the problems that we face, the more spiritual lessons that we learn. For example, you learn much more by solving a calculus problem than solving a problem like 1 + 1 = 2. So the more challenges I have personally, the more I can learn. So I'm really grateful of the incident that occurred 2 days ago. And also, but I'm asking for four things. One is knowledge, and second is compassion, and third is love, and number four is wisdom. So the four things are what I'm asking for uh, in the universe. I think the four are the essence that I need in order to navigate the system.
That's wonderful. From being in the heart comes wisdom, which allows for proper action. I love it. One last tiny exercise. This is easy in a sense. I'm only going to put my hand up in Texas. You're in California. If you wish to put your hand up, and if you wish to do this, it'll be 10 seconds. We're all interconnected. Yeah, one hand works, unless you want to do two. But feel what you can feel for the vibe. Is it sparkly? Is it just warmth? Even though we have two computer screens, people at home can do this, even if it's 5 years ahead in time, because there's no time or space. It's only love and above our highest intent, not my bill paying side. I'm going to go back to thinking in about an hour like every other human. But for the moment, pure love and joy and delight. What are you feeling in California right now?
I feel warmth.
And if you want, I can whoosh you rainbow light, but we're not going to blame me. We're going to blame angels or blame Canada, as the South Park says. But it'll be the universe whooshing you light, but only if you wish this is a good idea. 3 times, small, medium, and large. We do this on the show sometimes. You can privately ask for just expansion, fun, tingle, sparkle. Disney CGI effects are the best. I'm very simple that way. But would you like whooshing of rainbow light your way? It's okay to say no. This would be plenty. Okay, the very first one just goes small like a stereo receiver or the volume turned down. Feel what you can feel, maybe yummy in the tummy or in the back or all around the room. If you want to go crazy, you can see the light everywhere, but that's only if you want to go crazy. Okay, here comes the first one. My microphone's down here. I'm going to blow a little Hawaii your way. Here it goes. Did you get an extra little Nike swoosh of energy?
Yes, I did.
Good. Now, the second one, forget about me. It's really the universe. If you don't mind having a couple of your invisible, loving guides, whether from really far out or from planet Earthish, have them come in with extra for you. You're not going to share that out loud. That's for unpacking over the weekend or next week. Here comes the second one, medium, though. Just breathe a little extra. Unofficially, if people breathe through the mouth, they're opening up a little more. 1 out of 100 people are nose breathers, and that's okay too. Here comes the second one. Catch a little Maui or Hawaii in the air, sea spritz on the nose. And was it a little bigger?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I
the
felt
third
it.
one, the third one's the expression is go big, go home. Just go big, but keep it private. Maybe all the energy and light. How about I like light better? All the unconditionality and light and wind in your sails for your own self-help, spirituality, love book, helping others to let go and be here more. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And I know you're working on that. You're going to close out the show in a little bit and share with us what people might be able to expect in the future from you. Here comes the last one, though. Let a little Hawaii come in, ocean effect. And was that bigger, more fun?
Yes, yes, it's much bigger.
Thank you for your patience with that. You've done enough shows, you know how to close them out. Could you share with us before you give us a concluding reminder or two about life, the universe? Where are you for that next book? Are you working on it now? When do you think you might have it finished? When can we look for Samuel's finished product?
Yeah, I'm actually working on the book Secrets Kept. We're revealing the secrets kept by the esoteric masters, the spiritual masters, and also the different industries. For example, the medical industry, the energy industry, the education industry, and also some of the things that can give people practical value uh, on how they can improve their lives and how to save money and how to be kind of happy in their lifetimes and in their relationships and the power of the subconscious mind, things like that. So I think I'll be finishing that in a few months or so. So they're going to be able to read it next year.
Okay. So hopefully we'll get you back on to show the book and talk about the book if you'd like. Okay, last bit, if you had to give us a mantra or 3 simple reminders, so again, we can walk a smoother path. Not that it doesn't have ebb and flows like you were reminding us. There are certainly challenges that are coming no matter what, will shake us up. Welcome to being human. What are whatever you'd like to share, just again, to take heart? How about that? In the face of whatever we think is going on the planet.
Yes. First, knowledge is power. In order to respond to the challenges that we will face, we need to have the knowledge in order to respond appropriately. So the book Thiaoouba Prophecy gives people the power, gives people the knowledge. So I strongly encourage people to read it because it's the best book that I've ever read in my entire life with the most return on investment because I've read so many books written by investment gurus like Warren Buffett, George Soros, or even the investment fund managers. But this book, Thiaoouba Prophecy, um, has the best return on investment. And you can get a book on Amazon or by doing a simple search on Google to find a copy of the book. It's also on Audible in audiobook format. And the second is that we should look inside for answers because the kingdom of God is within you. We don't need to really follow the advice of our friends, associates, or parents, or the media, or politicians, or we just need to follow our heart. And the third, not to be confused with the second, is to follow your intuition because we all have gut feelings. We all have the feelings that certain things are right or not so correct, right. We should also be mindful of our life mission uh, and by following our intuition. So if you follow the 3 points that I just mentioned, I think you're going to be all right.
Wonderful. Samuel Chong, thank you so much for being on Angels, Positivity, and Love. It was a delight. And again, a treat. Thank you for being on.
Thank you.